The study I just referenced for you prior was a modeling study done by one of the best modeling groups in the world in Hong Kong. Here is one of the more recent experimental studies to also convince you that ventilation is critical. In this study, my colleague Don Milton at the University of Maryland spent a few years trying to understand how ventilation impacts acute respiratory infections. These are those niggling little colds and irritating illnesses that we get most every winter, and especially on college campuses. And so here they studied two different dorms, one that had more ventilation and one that had less ventilation. And measuring CO2 in the rooms, looking at the differences, you can see the low ventilation dorm has high CO2, and that low ventilation dorm was only ventilated at 2 liters per second per person, which resulted in over 50% of the subjects getting acute respiratory infections. That's 47 students out of 109 residents. In the high ventilation dorm, we have one infection out of 11 students who lived in this dorm. So we know from this study that we must ventilate at least at 6 liters per second per person. Prior studies, literature reviews, what have you, show that the outdoor air supply really should be as high as 25 liters per second per person so that we can minimize sick building symptoms, decrease short-term sick leave, and increase productivity. These are very solid studies from my field. Next slide.